قال الله وحوالله Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this word in truth, also in sincerity, risking their lives, man, also never to do so. But I'm going to okay with another short impromptu once again. Shalom. Alright, so here we have a article posted in Shabbat, brother. Alright, so we just run through it, get some precepts to go by to you know what I mean, to confirm or, you know what I mean, expound, exhort, expound, yeah. Alright, so yeah, as it says, nearly 300 studies link the common pesticide chlorpyrifos to multi-organ damage, DNA disruption, and chronic disease. Scientists tie chlorpyrifos to brain, liver, endocrine, and genetic damage, including at doses below current safety standards. So basically, even what they allow in the foods right now, even doses lower than that, could mess you up, right? Key findings. A review of nearly 300 studies summarizes evidence that chlorpyrifos may harm multiple systems throughout the body, including the brain, hormones, liver, gut microbiome, muscles, reproductive organs, and bones. The review describes DNA damage, chromosome instability, and epigenetic changes that may alter how genes function long after exposure. Some harmful effects appear at exposure levels below those considered safe under current pesticide exposure testing standards. For decades, regulators viewed chlorpyrifos, a pesticide widely used in the US and around the world, primarily as a neurotoxin that disrupts signaling in the brain and nervous system. But as the EPA reconsiders whether to continue to allow its use on foods like apples and soybeans, a new review indicates often other insidious harms. Published in April 2026 in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, the review synthesizes findings from nearly 300 studies worldwide published up to this year. These include laboratory experiments, animal studies, epidemiological research, regulatory documents, and risk assessments. Growing evidence suggests chlorpyrifos may damage the brain, hormones, liver, gut microbiome, muscles, reproductive organs, and bones. Studies also link the pesticide to DNA damage and lasting changes in gene activity that may increase the risk of chronic disease. Together, the findings portray chlorpyrifos as what the reviewers call a multi-system toxicant that possesses a more significant threat to public health than previously understood. It suggests the pesticide acts on the body in ways far beyond disrupted nerve signaling or obvious poisoning. Pregnancy and early childhood are especially sensitive periods for chemical exposure. What has genuinely evolved over time is our understanding that chlorpyrifos causes harm in ways that go beyond effects on the nervous system, including damage to DNA, changes in how genes are switched on or off, interference with hormones, and disruption of the healthy bacteria that live in the gut, said Dr. Dana Boyd-Barr, a professional at Emory University's Rollins School of Public Health and past president of the International Society of Exposure Science. The authors warn the current regulatory systems may not fully capture the complexity of chlorpyrifos's dangers to the body. Many occur at levels too low to be detected by current safety testing, which looks for the disruption of the enzyme involved in nerve cell communication. Review links chlorpyrifos exposure to biological changes associated with inflammation, chronic disease, and cancer, brain and nervous system damage, including lower IQ and developmental harms in children, neurodegenerative disease, and disrupted cell growth, survival and communication, DNA damage, and altered gene regulation that hinders normal cell repair and changes how genes are switched on and off during development, epigenetics, hormone disruption involving thyroid, estrogen, and testosterone pathways, liver injury, gut bacteria disruption, and metabolic dysfunction linked to obesity and type 2 diabetes, reproductive, muscular, and skeletal harm, including reduced sperm quality and bone loss. Industrial pushback despite reported harms. The review comes as the EPA reassesses whether the pesticides' remaining uses meet the statutory standard of no unreasonable adverse effects. The action follows years of official stalling, prior bans, policy reversals, and legal challenges. Meanwhile, agri-chemical companies are lobbying federal and state lawmakers to shield pesticide manufacturers, including Bayer and its subsidiary Monsanto, from some lawsuits involving Roundup weed killer. The suits allege their products cause non non-Hodgkin lymphoma, among other cancers. So basically, what it's saying is that this pesticide in particular, or this chemical in pesticide is like one of the strongest poison you could possibly, intake. You know, even in the lower levels that even come up on the test, it could mess you up pretty bad. Right? And hey, at the end of the day, we know we under the curses. You know? We know we under the curses. The Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." Alright? So that means what? It once it started, it don't stop. Basically, once iron rusting, it don't stop until unless you cut out the piece iron that rusting. Yeah, son. So they're saying, don't trust your enemy. Alright? But this is why I bring up the curses, in Deuteronomy 28 and 48. It said, "Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." Yeah. Right, so you had to grasp the concept that is being, portrayed. Or, I don't want to say portrayed, yeah, to fully understand what is being done. Yeah, like that is a better word than say. Alright, because at the end of the day, as one of the brothers has always said, without divine intervention, we do. We do. That is as basic or as layman as I could put it. Without Yahweh Basham Yoshai allowing us to understand the truth, we would have been doomed. Now, I don't know if in the third world countries like Trinidad and Tobago could get away from it, because to put it plainly, some brothers do have the land or do have the assets to acquire land to plant their own food. So, we had to buy it at the grocery regardless, when it's already contaminated. As the scripture says, the curses say, right, we are to serve the enemy, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger. Right? So we had to go to them for it. In want of all things, we had to go to them. right? And that is why you find Esau, Edom have a like a almost supreme rule at this point in time. However, I don't want to digress, but however, that time is being cut short. It's going to be so sudden and abrupt. It's going to be marvelous at that point in time. Marvelous. Can't even fathom the shock. You know what I mean? You really can't fathom it. So back to the point at hand. There is this is basically what we consume. Look at all the toxins or all the things that this one out of a plethora of chemicals disrupts. Right? So let's go. I'm looking for a precept here. Hmm. Nah, in the wrong book. In the wrong book. Psalm 64 and 6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. But the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So you think Esau Edom didn't know that it does do this? Right, apart in the article I read just now, it basically says it's make it docile. You know what I mean? Right way they want us, we are docile. Right, we already powerless, at least physically. Right, we ain't inherit with true spiritual powers yet, spiritual and physical powers yet. You know, that's why we rejoice to see the state of the kingdom as it is today. Because the worse this kingdom gets, the sooner the kingdom to come will be here. Right, so we rejoice at things like this. You know what I mean? The man of sin being revealed, the son of perdition. Because hey, they allowed us. They allowed this shit for years. For years. And they coming out and saying, oh, this harmful now. You think that it going to stop being used? Let me be real. Let me be real. It's just another stroke against Esau, basically. Esau Edom. You know? Never trust your enemy. You just really can't trust them. You really, really can't. You really, literally can't. No matter what they're going to do me, they're going to do me. Right? So yeah, I hope it was edifying. I hope it's like food for thought among the Arkham watching and listening to the spirit and power of Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.